What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got an episode of Chicago Bulls Weekly to provide for you guys, and it's going to be a short one and a disappointing one, unfortunately, for the Chicago Bulls, as we look at the previous week for the Chicago Bulls, how disastrous it actually was, and the upcoming week for the Bulls, where there is a lot of winnable games on the horizon that we must get the job done in. At the end of the day, we have blown a couple of games in this previous week, and we have to recover somehow, and there are easy, winnable games. I wouldn't necessarily say easy, but winnable games coming up for the Bulls. It is time to get the job done in that department. Let's see if the Bulls can do it. But before we get any further, if you liked the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Bulls, their previous week, the awards given, and the upcoming week for this Bulls team. So, let's get started. We had two games in the previous week and we ended up going 0-2. Now 0-2, again, it's a disaster class in terms of it's a negative week, but I think what hurts me more than the actual 0-2 record is how we lost these games in controversial fashion for both of them. So the first game was against the Phoenix Suns. A terrific first half performance. It looked like the Bulls were going to go on an unbelievable run. It looked like the Bulls were going to get a great victory, and such a well-needed victory and a crucial victory for our season. When you get a team like the Phoenix Suns, who are one of the top teams in the Western Conference, having a great season, good record, and you could get the win away from home against them, that is considered one of the best wins of the season if we were able to get it. But the second half came to play, and the Bulls did not. The Bulls returned to Chicago after that second half. It looked like the Bulls were on the second night of a back-to-back and not Phoenix. And in the end, we lost that game 115 to 113. It was a close game towards the end, of course. But look, we were up by well over 20 points in this game. And it hurt to see the Bulls lose that lead pretty convincingly, and in the end lose the lead completely in that game. So yeah, controversial to say the least. Yes, there were some referee calls that didn't go our way, which I feel like should have went our way. Yes, I believe that, you know, some things the Bulls kind of lost their heads in many ways, and some things led to, I guess, the Bulls doing those things. But by Phoenix, you know, Phoenix were trying to get the energy up. Phoenix were playing a little bit physical. Phoenix were hard fouling and stuff of that nature. I get all that. But in the end, they brought the energy that they needed and they walked away with the win there. So a really rough loss for the Bulls. And then the second night was against the LA Lakers, and we got absolutely cooked, destroyed, dismantled in this game. We lost this game 141 to 132. Yes, you look at the scoreline, 132 points seems like a great offensive night for the Bulls, but 141 points given, 141 points given, 141 points conceded. That's a joke, and that's the second time it's happened in the space of a month that we've conceded 140 points. Now, I get it. The NBA is very much a scoring league, and teams do like to score 130, 140 points. But to have two of them in the space of a month against fairly mediocre teams, no disrespect to the Lakers, but their record speaks for itself. The Warriors' record speaks for itself. They are both not necessarily the most amazing teams out there. I get it. The Bulls are neither. But to have two games like that in the space of a month is very disappointing. And we did get cooked. We got embarrassed. We probably should have lost by a little bit more, to be honest. I think we were lucky to actually get into the single-digit range of this game. And it's definitely one to forget, to say the least. So two very disappointing games. And that's going to lead to my awards. Because, look, normally when we have bad weeks like this, I don't give awards. But I'm hoping this is just a bad stretch, a bad two-game stretch, and not necessarily a bad run incoming. Maybe we could turn it around against Portland and the other games that we have to come. That's what I'm hoping for. So I will give the awards out today, just to see whether or not the Bulls can actually deliver in this next previous week, or whether or not we have to cancel the awards altogether because of how bad the Bulls actually are. So, yeah, let's get started. The must improve is the whole team, though. And here's the reason why. Defensively, we were a joke on both games. Both games, we were really, really poor defensively. The run the Phoenix went on in the second half shows how bad defensively we were. And then obviously 141 points in the game against the Lakers. Yes, I know the Lakers took some tough shots and made some very difficult shots, but that obviously wasn't pleasant as well, and that really did hurt. So I'd say both defensively, both games defensively was really, really poor. So, yeah, I would say my must improve is the whole team defensively. When it comes to my sixth man of the week, I think it has to be Ayo Dosunmu. I don't see anyone else that really steps into the category and takes the reins there. I think Ayo was far and away one of our best bench players and produced on both nights. So he is definitely not one of those people I'm looking at and blaming for the Bulls' performances in this previous week. My defensive player of the week, I think I'm kind of leaning towards Ayo as well. Now, don't get me wrong, Caruso is always the guy that we tend to give it to because it's the easy choice. But there was a lot of times this week where I'm looking at Ayo getting a steal, getting a deflection that leads to his own transition points. And I think that's a big thing for Ayo, getting a stop on one end and getting easy layups on the other end. Playing some simple, fast-paced basketball that allows us to get easy and open opportunities. And I think Ayo should get a lot of the awards for both of those games. And then my player of the week, this one is tough. DeMar DeRozan had a 32-point performance against the LA Lakers. 32 points and 10 assists. That's pretty fantastic when you think of it on the stats side of things. Yes, he's not the best defensively, but again, you look at the stats and that's pretty impressive. Coby White was probably the more consistent player. I think he had 25 and 26 points respectively on his night. So I think I have to give it to Coby White, but I think the best performer for that Lakers game was DeMar DeRozan. So, bit controversial there, I guess, but maybe not really for many people. But anyway, let's move on. The awards don't really matter because the Bulls sucked last week, and we have to respond. When I say winnable games, what does that mean? Well, our first game is against the Portland Trail Blazers away from home. This will be the game that ends our West Coast trip. We'll be returning home after this one. What better way to go out of a West Coast trip than with a win? No one wants to go back to Chicago with a 0-3 West Coast trip. That is going to be absolutely memed, disaster, and people will press the panic button after that game. So it's a great way to respond. Portland are not necessarily the most amazing team in the Western Conference. They only have 13 wins on their season. This is primed for the Bulls to win this game. Now again, when we often consider the Bulls the heavy favorites, they do end up sometimes playing to the opponent's level. That cannot happen in this game. It is time for the Bulls to respond. Then we return home and face the Toronto Raptors. Now, we faced this Toronto Raptors team before. We know how they play. We were one of the first teams that they did end up playing that new look team with Bruce Brown and whatnot. So, I do expect the Bulls to be the favorites to win this game at home. We got the job done away from home. The Raptors will obviously get some chemistry in there, which would be good to see from their point of view. But I do believe the Bulls can get the job done there. We also got an away game in a back-to-back situation as we go to the Charlotte Hornets home ground and face the Charlotte Hornets. We've already beaten them a couple of times. We know what it takes to beat the Charlotte Hornets. I think we show how positive we can be. I do believe, I guess, Charlotte might have some guys back compared to when we last faced them, those last two games that we faced them in a back-to-back situation. So that's something to look out for, but I do expect the Bulls to be the favorites in this game as well. And then our last game is going to be a difficult one at home against the Sacramento Kings. Sacramento is one of the best offensive teams in the NBA at the moment, and they have gotten the better of the Chicago Bulls in recent history. So that is something to keep an eye on as well. But look at that week. You can't tell me the Bulls can't have a good week this time out. The obviously Portland game, that is suggesting that the Bulls are the favorites in my eyes. The Raptors is a little bit tougher, but I suggest and I would predict the Bulls are the favorites in that game. The Bulls will be the favorites against Charlotte, and I think we could provide a very good fight at home because we are normally a good team at defending home court. I think we could do a good job defending home court against the Kings and provide a fight. We might not be the favorites in that game, but I think we could show the fight that we need to win a game like that. So I'm hoping that's what we're going to end up seeing, and I guess that's my episode for Bulls Weekly. My prediction will be 3-1, and hopefully we can have a big response in this upcoming week. Thank you for watching. Drop a like and a follow, and or subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you in the next Chicago Bulls related video. Have a wonderful and safe day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.